Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to do this video. So, first of all, I have not done a video in 2 years. I've been uploading like shorts and mostly posting on my TikTok and my Instagram, but I haven't actually uploaded videos on a YouTube channel. So, I am definitely going to start uploading videos more consistently because one of my passions is just teaching and educating people. So if you are new to my channel, my name is Bianca, and I'm actually a licensed cosmetologist in the state of Ohio. And so I also do own a salon suite, which is what you see around you, right? So, what better way to talk about, hair is to be in my actual suite. So, anyway, I wanted to come on here and do this video because I did want to bring some clarity and also education, and maybe even dismantle some concerns or some misinformation that people have surrounding relaxers, right? Because if you don't know by now, there is an influx of Black women, I wouldn't even just say African American women, but anyway, relaxers are starting to slowly or maybe rapidly make a comeback, but they are starting to come back. So I want to talk about my personal journey first, and then kind of get into like the science behind how relaxers actually work, and then kind of just talk about what made me go back to a relaxer. And then I'm probably going to do a part 2 to this video because there also is something, I'm still researching it, but I'll talk about it a little bit at the end. But I believe there is something a little sinister going on behind the whole relaxer and a cancer thing and all that. So I'll kind of save some of that for the end, and then come back and do a part 2, because if I do share information, I do want to make sure that I am like honest and thorough as possible. So pause, let me get a sip of my water, because you got to stay hydrated. So anywho, so first I'll start with just because I'm real transparent too, so I just want to be honest. So what made me actually stop getting a relaxer at first, and I think I had transitioned in 2012, and so what made me stop was honestly, I kind of just got into the hype, just to be totally honest. I do remember one of my friends / co-workers, she was kind of like, so many girls on YouTube, Bianca, who have, they don't have that, kind of mixed type of hair texture. I know we got the hair chart. So it's like, she didn't, I don't know if she said type 3 or type 2 hair. She's like, no, they have like coarse hair, and they, talking about their natural hair journey, and their hair is so long, and this and that and that and this. So I'm like, okay, and I will say that the experience of getting a relaxer was unpleasant, back in the day, right? But I'm gonna get into that. So I felt like at the time, and again, this is 2012, so I was uneducated. I didn't know anything really about hair or anything. I did hair. I've actually been hair savvy since I was a little girl, but when you actually go to hair school, that's totally different than just knowing how to style hair, right? And so back then I wore like weave and stuff like that, and then I would kind of wear my hair back then how it is now. And so another reason I do want to like talk about this too, if I didn't already say it, is because I do want to talk about relaxers from a cosmetologist standpoint, and not just somebody that's on YouTube just talking about why they went back to relaxers, so anyway, I basically kind of just got involved in the whole hype or whatever, because I was just thinking to myself, like, okay, well, I don't really like the process of relaxers. It is, a little unpleasant, right? And then I did feel like my hair wasn't growing that's how I felt. I don't really know if that was actually true, you know, when I kind of reflect and think about it. So that's that. So that's kind of what made me transition to rock, you know, my natural curls. And my other video on the channel, you can see how my hair was, right? And so I do want to say that I do not have an issue with natural hair, right? Well, first of all, if you want to be technical, right, this is my natural hair, okay, right? It's naturally growing out my head, right? But I like to say there is nothing wrong with wearing your natural curl pattern. I'll put it that way. There's nothing wrong with it. I think natural curly hair, no matter if it's fine, dense, you know, kinky, coily, curly, I think it's all beautiful. Because I just love hair. I think it's all beautiful. I'm really more an advocate for healthy hair. And I know a lot of people think like things can't be healthy if you put like certain types of chemicals and things on it. And that's where, you know, I want to kind of come in. So anyway, so that's what made me go from relaxed to rocking my natural curl pattern. And that transition probably fully took maybe a year and a half. I don't really know. All right, so my next point is as far as the aesthetics, aside from the science and everything like that, to be honest, I just like my hair straighter. I like to wear it straighter. And honestly, if we be honest, a lot of black women like their hair straight, right? Because one, relaxers wouldn't have been popular like they were before, right? And then now we had the silk press kind of emerge from the natural hair movement, because a lot of people was like, well, okay, I can let the relaxer go, but I still like the way my hair looks straight, right? Or with somebody, or even with some curls, right? So that's the thing, right? And you could probably argue and say I kind of got used to it, right? Because I had a relaxer in my hair since I was 9 years old up until however old I was in 2012. I was in my 20s. Okay, I'm not doing the math right now. And so, you know, that's the thing as far as that goes. So while I was natural, or naturally curly, I fell into a lot of the, you know, right, and again, this is pre-hair school. I fell into a lot of the coconut oil and the I never did no onion water, but I did the rice water stuff. I did that. I didn't get too much into some of the products, you know, that are marketed to black people, like Cantu and Shea Moisture. I think I dabbled in them, but I never was a huge product junkie, right? That's just not me. I've tried them, and then, you know, whatever. I just shampooed I didn't get into the co-washing thing. It never made sense to me. But now I know why, because I have more science to kind of back that up. But I will say I definitely did do the coconut oil and the rice water trend that kind of came. Because of course, if people are like, all right, I want to rock my natural curls, then what happens is they're like, well, why don't we just put natural stuff, aka food, on our hair, right? And so, and then, you know, kind of just putting, I let grease go, because I know grease is like, that kind of was the thing, like, yeah, you know, let's be natural and stuff like that. Me personally, though, I never liked grease, because it's greasy. I hated when my mother put grease on my hair when I was a little girl before I got my relaxer. One, because she put too much in there, for one. And number two, I never felt like it did anything, honestly. When I was a kid, actually, I had bad dandruff. And a lot of people deal with dandruff because they have a lot of yeast build up on their scalp because they're putting too much things on their scalp. But I'm getting ahead of myself because that's just the teacher in me. Is like I love to educate. But yeah, I just never was a fan of grease anyway, because I just don't like how it feels. It just weighs your hair down and it's just thick, and it's like I never felt like it did anything, honestly. So there's that. So when I was natural, I would mostly rock. I would do like 2-strand twists. If I was really in the mood to do my hair, I would do like flat twists. And then sometimes I would take perm rods and put them on the ends, just so when I took my flat twist out, I had a cute, like, some definition to my, natural curls. But for the most part, I would just, just grab like, a little section of my hair like this, and I would just like 2-strand twist it. Ooh, my little earring. I would like 2-strand twist my hair, and then I would put the perm rods on the ends and kind of take that down and kind of just rock that look. Or when I really, really was in the mood, I would kind of just put like some chunkier like braids in my hair. So sometimes I would do like 4 braids to the back at night before I went to bed, or I would do like a few single braids all over my hair. And with the type of hair I have, so my texture is actually fine, but my curl pattern was coily. And so because of that, I don't know what it was, but braid outs looked really good on my hair. I liked when my hair looked like that. The problem, though, that I was starting to notice was that I felt like it was too much manipulation for my hair. I felt like it was, I just had a lot of hair. Like your hair, so naturally, your hair is on a cycle. Each strand that's on your head has a growth cycle, okay? And it goes through 3 stages in the growth cycle. And so you will have, longer pieces that will come out daily. That's normal, right? But normally, if you have like smaller pieces that are kind of like breaking off on your ends, that might be some breakage there. Right? And then you have the shedding where you're seeing like clumps of your hair coming out. That's a whole nother topic right there. That most likely is probably either some type of stress, or it could be a hormonal thing. Usually when you're seeing like globs of hair coming out, right? Or it could be some y'all was doing those DIY color and lightening stuff at home, right? That would probably be the other case. But of course, so that's the thing. And so, yeah, for me, I feel like it seemed like it was a little bit too much for my hair, right? And then, just to be totally transparent, I just didn't feel like doing that every day, right? Because if I didn't, so I kind of had a little bit of a dilemma, because I was like, well, if I 2-strand twist my hair every day, my curls are cute, they're defined, it's kind of styled, right? And boom, but then I kind of felt like it was a little too much for my hair. So then if I was being, lazy, right? And then I'm like, I just put on a bonnet or a scarf or something, right? And go to bed. After like 2 days or whatever, it would get matted, right? But then sometimes, then I just take a little scrunchie or some kind of rubber band, and I would just like put it up in like the puff, right? And so, the puff was cool or whatever, but again, I just really didn't like, if it wasn't 2-strand twisted, or if I didn't have a braid out, then I just didn't like really how my hair looked. And again, it's not about the natural curl pattern part. That's not the problem. It's just, for me, I just didn't feel like it was, I don't know, if I was lazy with my hair, I just didn't feel it was styled, and I just didn't feel good about my hair and how I looked and stuff like that. And that's just me just being honest and transparent, right? Because, honestly, like a lot of the time when I was natural, wearing my natural curls, I kind of wasn't wearing weave anymore for whatever reason, because I used to be big on, wearing the tracks and all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, well, I don't really, like how my hair look. But again, it wasn't the natural texture part, because I see so many girls rock their natural curls and it's so pretty and so beautiful, right? So it wasn't really that. It was just, for me, I was just like, no. you know. So, and too, I started to learn some things about myself too. I really like convenience. I'm the type of person where I will spend money just to save time. And I'm really learning that about myself, and I'm starting to embrace that about myself. You know what I mean? So that was the thing. So boom. I end up going to hair school. And so when I was a junior student, we had something called an X Week. And so I ended up watching Good Hair, right? That was one of the movies that we ended up watching. And so I remember watching Good Hair, and I was like, Chris Rock, I'm gonna leave Chris Rock alone because I don't got no issue with Chris Rock, to be honest. But I will say, the movie was a little misrepresentative. And again, I didn't piece that together till later. So, but I was watching it, and I was kind of like, he took the sodium hydroxide, and first of all, that was like straight sodium hydroxide, right? And he put it on a Coke can, and it like pretty much dissolved metal. And so that's it was a little misleading, because what it does, right, in your psyche is that you're like, okay, well, why would I want to put something, on my hair that can disintegrate a Coke can, right? But here's the thing about sodium hydroxide. They put it in soap. It might not be in every brand of soap, but they put it in soap, right? So the thing about it is is pretty much lye, right? So you can pretty much use that in different, cosmetic products. It's just, they mix it with emulsors and different conditioners and things like that. So that's the thing with that. So it was misleading, right? And again, I didn't know that. I put that together later, because that's how life is, But in my mind, in my psyche, in my mind, right? So now, because I didn't stop getting relaxers because I thought they caused cancer. Because in 2012, I don't recall that being a thing. Those propositions and all that kind of stuff started coming like later, if I'm not mistaken. So, however, by the time I went to hair school, which was 2023, March 2023 to be exact, the whole cancer thing did start swirling around. So, right, I felt justified to continue to wear my, natural curl pattern or whatever. And so then I see this Good Hair movie, and I'm looking like, why would somebody want to put something like that in their hair? So, not realizing, not understanding how it works. So shortly after that, in hair school, we have a whole section in our book on relaxers. So I'm reading, and I'm like, okay. So I'm reading it, and it's basically, talking about, first things first is just FYI, like the amount of sodium hydroxide that's in relaxers is extremely small. And like I said, it's used in soap and other cosmetic products, so it's just weird how relaxers kind of just became like the villain. But again, that's kind of a little later. I'll kind of touch on that a tad. So, anywho, I learned that, first of all, I was applying relaxers completely wrong. You're supposed to take the petroleum, aka Vaseline, not just base the perimeter, but you put it on the entire scalp, right? So I'm like, okay, well, I never knew that. right? Now, in the box relaxers, right, that anybody can just buy from CVS or Walgreens, I'm sure is in the instructions. But what I realized as being a, professional is, and even myself, to be honest, people don't really read, but it was right there. So I said, well, shoot, that eliminates the whole uncomfortable, process of, you know, what the relaxer is doing, right? As far as, on the scalp, because the relaxers aren't for the scalp anyway, it's for the hair. So I'm like, okay, well, that kind of probably eliminates that. So I'm like, all right. Then I learned that when you're doing a virgin relaxer, you put it on the roots last. Now, again, some of y'all probably watching this like, duh, I knew that. But I'm telling you, everybody don't know that. You'll be surprised how many people was putting it on the roots first and then doing the rest of the hair or whatever, however they were applying it. But you have to put it on the hair in zones. And you got to do it expeditiously. Now, I'm sure most people understand that. However, another thing is when you put a relaxer on, you're not supposed to get it bone straight. You're supposed to leave a little bit of a wave or a curl in the hair. You really want to you only really straighten it to about, you pretty much you would remove about 80% of the curl, because you want to leave some I guess you can say elasticity in the hair, because you might curl it or flat iron it, whatever, blow dry, all that kind of stuff. So I think that's everything. Yeah. So with that said, I was like, okay, well, the fact that I was like applying them wrong definitely kind of had me start thinking like, okay, well, shoot, if I was applying them wrong, then I don't know, I might, it was a seed planted. I'll put it that way. So I was just like, oh, okay, So then I messed around and went to like a hair show in Columbus, Ohio. And so the lady who was teaching a silk press class, the actual name of the class was called Stop Oiling, Start Moisturizing. And it was it was sponsored by Ashtay Products. And while she was, she had a demo and she had a person she was actually like doing a silk press on. She was like teaching and doing a silk press at the same time. She was like, guys, we're in the world, she was like, I love YouTube and YouTube is great. She was like, but we're in a world full of information, but also a lot of incorrect information. And she was like, y'all know relaxers are coming back, right? And mind you, this was in 2020. I'm sorry. When did I go to hair school? Earlier I said March 2023. I started hair school in March of 2022. I stand corrected. So this was October of 2022. So, she was like, relaxers is coming back, right? And so she said something that I personally found to be very, very profound. She said, just because you are natural, right? She said, that does not mean that your hair is healthy. And everybody was like, not, kind of nodding or whatever. And that kind of just, really had me thinking, because, you see, first of all, my hair, right? When I was in hair school, I will say that's probably the most I've gotten my hair straightened with a flat iron since I've been natural, because I personally just was not flat ironing my own hair. I didn't want to. I don't feel like it, okay? And so, of course, I would let my fellow students, silk press my hair. And so, of course, they had to trim my ends, right? And I did have a little length, to my hair, because I was on this whole braid thing. And I still love braids, actually. But I was, like, wearing braids back to back, again, not knowing any better. And so my hair was definitely retaining some length and, getting longer. But then by the time I got to hair school, it needed some taking off, right? But that's the thing, that's kind of the trend or the pattern I see with a lot of women who are rocking their natural hair. They're not getting their ends trimmed regularly. Some are, And I'm gonna take some accountability, even though I'm a relatively newer, licensed hairstylist. I'm not, I haven't been in the game 20 years, but I thrive off education, as it pertains to my field. And I will say that, I will say a lot of hairstylists do have to do a better job of educating the public, when it comes to hair. However, the other caveat is it's also challenging too to teach and educate people, because it's hard to break through people's mindsets when they've been told something for years and years and years, right? And so, with that said, you know, I had to get some of my hair, pretty much cut off. And I will say some of them students probably cut off a little too much. Who knows? I don't know. But that could have happened. However, regardless of that, that is a trend. A lot of girls, again, they have the natural curls. They're embracing their natural curls, right? And then for whatever reason, they just get this itch where they like, I want to straighten my hair. I want to go and book a silk press, right? So then they go and book the silk press, right? And then you press it out and you be looking like, I can literally see through your hair, right? And so that's because of years of accumulation of doing so many things, to your, natural hair pattern or your natural curls, that actually is very unnecessary. So, when she said, just because you don't, essentially just because you don't have chemicals in your hair or put a chemical on your hair, doesn't mean that your hair is healthy. And then this is something else she said while I was doing a silk press. She was like, when it comes to the professional relaxers, right? She was like, back in the day, when she was like, those girls who would come in the salon and, get, have relaxed hair, she was like, their hair would be all the way to their bra, past the bra strap and whatnot. And, I can remember people from back in the day who, would have relaxed hair, and it would be so long and healthy and stuff like that. So when she said that, I started to think about that, like, and I had told my one friend that too, because she is natural, and I know she deal with a measure of like frustration when it comes to her hair, because one time she was like, I don't understand, I'm natural and all that stuff, and she was like, my hair is not really getting longer, right? Because again, we see these girls on YouTube and all that kind of stuff, and it's like they have this long hair, and it's just like, we compare ourselves to these women, not knowing, like, people don't understand the growth cycle and how that works too. That's a whole nother thing. Like, hair growth, as far as the resting phase, right? Because I said earlier, your hair, each strand on your hair has its own growth cycle, and then the growth cycle is 3 phases. So you have a middle phase where it's like a resting phase. And so that resting phase, which is the growth period, that's kind of more based on your genetics, right? So that phase can last anywhere between 2 to 7 years, right? And then just depending on your genetics and how long that resting phase is, once it hits that phase, that hair is coming out, and there's nothing you can do about it, right? So, that's another caveat too that I know people are not considering when they're, going natural, right? And they're comparing their hair length to some other women that are natural, and their hair is like super duper long, right? It's like this long, and they like, well, shoot, my hair only this long, and I've been natural forever. And it's like, why is it not down to my butt yet? So that's another, thing too. I know a lot of people aren't teaching on that, but that's just something else that I want to share, because I feel like, if you watch this video this far, I feel like that's something that can be freeing, as well. But nonetheless. So, when she said that at the hair show, because I was taking a class, it genuinely did get my it really did get my kind of wheel spinning, and I did it planted some seeds. And honestly, the seeds were already planted because in the first place, I already started to learn that I was applying the relaxer incorrectly in the first place. So that was kind of like half the battle. And then the other part of it was realizing like my hair wasn't necessarily that much healthier without the chemicals. And then of course, you know, I learned how a relaxer works. I learned how color works, lightener, all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, okay, so, you know, because I always wanted to color my hair, but I used to be scared because I was like, dang, I don't want to damage my hair, you know. And so, but when I learned that you can have healthy hair and it can be chemically treated, I was just like, okay, you know. So, so basically, that's essentially what made me, you know, go back to relaxer. Long story long. But I will, so last thing I want to share before I wrap the video up, also too, is the other thing is, I said I learned how a relaxer works outside of the actual application part because I already went over that. But scientifically, a relaxer, we were told, you know, that it goes and breaks the disulfide bond. It doesn't do all of that. That's lightener and color that actually goes in and rearranges the bonds and all that kind of stuff. Relaxers actually only work on the relaxers actually only work on the outside of your hair. This is why you have to smooth it, because it's actually a physical thing. So, you know, it's very similar to, you know, how a flat iron works, right? This is why now you have another movement that has emerged called the straight naturals, right? And, you know, there's a whole lot of things swirling around like, okay, did I train my hair with the flat iron or is it heat damaged, right? And so the thing about it is you can flat iron your hair enough to remove the curl, right? Because how many, if your hairstyle is out there, or if you are somebody who, you know, is a straight natural, right? Or whatever, I don't really know the correct terminology, but you know, you're somebody who does not have a relaxer, but you do get your hair flat ironed pretty regularly, you will start to notice that your ends will be the first part of your hair that will not revert back. And so at that point, you have essentially done to your hair what a relaxer does. You have flat ironed your hair enough to the point where you have removed your natural, your curl pattern, right? So you can do it with heat or you can do it with sodium hydroxide. You know, basically you can just pick which one you want to do. And which leads me to, I want to go back real quick. Another reason why I just chose to get a relaxer is because, you know, again, I did the silk press thing and all that kind of stuff, but it wouldn't last, honestly. They can last. I'm a sweater, okay? And I just personally did not want to go through the phase of having to train my hair to be a quote unquote straight natural. I didn't want to do all of that, okay? Because I was going to get locks in my hair at one point in my life. And I didn't want to go through the little in-between phase, you know. I had to think about this for a second. I was like, do I really want to do it? And do I really want to keep up locks? No. I had to be real with myself. So, you know, so yeah, that's the thing with relaxers. Relaxers don't go in and rearrange bonds. That's not true. It works out on the outside of your hair. It's physical. Again, that's why you have to take your fingers and smooth it, right? Just like you do with a flat iron, you smooth it. And hair, and honestly too, hair, God made hair to have the ability to conform, right? So if you want to straighten your hair, right? If you want to redefine your curls, right? Because they got the Gina curl out now, which is really a modern version of the Jerry curl, right? you know, they put a thio relaxer on your hair and then basically give you a perm, which is a curly perm. A perm. A perm is actually a permanent curl, basically, right? And so, yeah, you know, there's that service. And then, you know, people who have naturally straight hair or naturally wavier hair, right? They go and get curly perms, right? And they got to put the solution on there to make the curl, you know, conform and all that jazz. So, you know, at the end of the day, people, you know, are free to do whatever they want with their hair. People have to, it is, can you afford it? You know, can you afford it? If it fits your face or whatever the case is, you got to determine, you know, what style looks good for you. I mean, as a professional, I will suggest some things to people. Like, I don't recommend that for your face shape, right? But at the end of the day, you know, people gonna wear what they like as far as their hair. And then the third thing too is you gotta do what your lifestyle allots for you to do. Now, I do not have children. I am not married. However, again, I will say this too. My hair, it's fine, but it was super coily, right? My texture when it was in its curls, it was not hard to manage at all. So, because I know some people be like, "Oh, natural hair is hard to manage" and stuff like that. You know, I get it. I didn't have that issue, right? I would, when I had my curls, listen, I would shampoo, deep condition, detangle, and put my little 2-strand twist, and I'd be done in an hour. Okay, my hair is pretty quick to do. Okay, and as you can see, it's not like, you know, super duper long. It's, you know, kind of like a little medium length or whatever. So my hair is not, it doesn't take a lot to do. For me, it was just simply a lifestyle choice. What took me longer was more so just putting those 2-strand twists in every single night. That was the part that was too much for me. And then I would get lazy and not 2-strand twisted. So then I had to, you know, so I just kind of came to a point for me as to why I went back to relaxer. I just had to come to a point to accept how I really wanted to do my hair, you know, and how I really wanted to style and wear my hair. And like I said, I wasn't willing to go through the phase of trying to train my hair, because I would get the silk presses and it would poof the next day. So I'm just kind of like, okay, well, what do I do now? What is the point? Right? And I remember back in the day when I got relaxers, even though I was applying them wrong and putting them in wrong, and I do not recommend doing your own relaxer. If you want to get a relaxer, please go to a licensed cosmetologist. If you don't know how, you can look up on your state website and see if the girl who's doing your hair is licensed. Okay, you can look that up. And so, if you're a stylist and you're not licensed, don't get mad at me. I'm just saying. Some stuff is just reserved for people who went to school and got a license, right? And so, and you as the consumer, right, should care about your hair enough to, if you decide, like, you know what, I'm about to go back to a relaxer, or I'm gonna get color, or I'm gonna get lightener in my hair, or I want to wave nouveau, or a keratin treatment, etc., etc., right? You should care enough about your hair to educate yourself on who you want to do it, if they're licensed and if they know what they're talking about and know what they're doing, right? So, so that's the thing, right? Because a lot of y'all be coming for, you know, the IG stylist and all that stuff on social media, right? But then when you have somebody who then went to school and actually, you know, has a business and a clientele and all that stuff, trying to educate you, y'all refute the information, right? But you can't have it both ways. You know, you either, you know, want to respect the people that's doing things, you know, professionally, right? Or you take what you kind of get, right? Sorry, y'all. I think I just heard a fly or something. So you can't have it both ways is what I'm saying. So, you know, just take heed to what I'm sharing. And, you know, like I said, if you decide you want to go back to relaxer and get a relaxer, it's your prerogative. Just educate yourself on how it works. And that's kind of where I come in. That's why I'm doing this video and this channel. And So, but I do think it is something a little sinister going on with the relaxers, and I'll kind of put it in a nutshell because I'm going to come back and kind of talk about why the relaxer came under attack. But a big reason was, I believe, is because it was an attack on Black businesses. Because, let's just be real. At one point in history, if you were a salon owner, most of the clientele that came in there was getting a relaxer, right? At some point, right? Because you get a relaxer, every 6 to 10 weeks, depending on, it depends, right? And so that was a big chunk of the business, right? But of course, there was some other styles in between that. You got the weave industry, you got the bundles and wigs and all that other stuff too. There's still that, but a lot of Black owned businesses took a huge hit when that whole cancer lie, because it's a lie, it's not really true. Relaxers don't cause cancer. They don't even penetrate your scalp or anything like that. It literally just works on the outside of your hair. Again, it's very similar to a flat iron. It's just sodium hydroxide. And I'm trying to understand how something that stays external affects your uterus area. Make it make sense, right? So it's really a straw man thing, and it's something more sinister going on. So there's that. So yeah. So that's the video. I know it was kind of lengthy, but I really hope you guys learned something. And again, drop a comment below. Make sure you like, comment, share. Please share this video with someone who you know would be definitely benefit from the information that I shared. And leave a comment. Ask me some questions. If I know it, I will definitely reply. If not, I can look into it. If you have any suggestions of videos that you want me to talk about or expound upon further, I definitely would like to come out and do that, because my goal is just to help educate people about their hair the right way and just simplify it, because hair care is not difficult, y'all. I'm telling y'all. So all right, y'all, toodles. Love you guys. Bye.